One of the problems for us to rise up in life, to see every promise that God has spoken over our life come to pass, is that we begin to focus more on the problems before us than the opportunities that God places before us. We begin to be negative rather than stirring up faith and snatching what God is placing before us, the opportunities that God places. Come on, we need to look into ourselves. Sometimes we let fears take over us. We begin to look at, what if things don't click? What if that business doesn't work? What if the relationship doesn't click? We begin to look at the what ifs rather than look at the promise of God and say, yes, God has spoken it, He will do it. Well, that's what the people of Israel did when God had given them the promise that they would enter that land, that blessed land. What did they do? They began to look at the problems rather than the opportunity that God had placed before them. Come on, if God has spoken it, that means God's going to do it, right? But they did not hold on to God. They began to be negative with their perspective. Look at what happens in Numbers chapter 13 verse 27 and 28. It says, then they told him and said, we went to the land where you sent us. It truly flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. That means this is a land of opportunity, Moses. This is a land that is blessed. This is a land that God has spoken, and it is true, Moses. But look what they say in verse 28. They say, nevertheless, the people who dwell in the land are strong. Now they are beginning to focus on the problem. They are beginning to be negative in their perspective. It says, the people who dwell in the land are strong. The cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the descendants of Anak there. Come on. God has spoken a word. Though the people are strong, though the land is filled with those descendants of Anak, that means the giants, yet God is stronger, right? They forgot who their God is and began to be negative, began to magnify the problem. Come on, it's a simple fact of life. The greater the opportunity, it's not going to come on a platter. You're going to face crisis. You're going to face problems. But the amazing thing for you and me is the assurance that God has given us, that we will overcome, that we will see that promise come to pass. The problems are temporary. The promise is definitely a sure thing. Come on, I want you to know that it is your negativity that can stop you from receiving all that God has for you. All you need to do is renew your mind. Begin to renew your mind and think the things of God. Meditate on the word that God has given you. Know for sure that God, when He has spoken, He will do it. And also know for sure that when you are on the way to receive that promise of God, obstacles will come, issues will come, problems will be there. But the amazing thing is the strength of God who is with you will help you overcome it all. And that's why I want to encourage you. Don't be negative. Look at the things from God's perspective. Look at the opportunity through the eyes of faith and know for sure whatever you see as negative is your opportunity or your stepping stone to rise higher. So once again I say, let's stop being negative and look at the opportunity from God's eyes. God bless you.